In this video, you'll learn how to compare different versions of setup data of an offering or a functional area. You need the Export-Import Functional Setups User role and the appropriate Application Administrator role to perform this activity. Your company deployed the supply chain planning offering in your environment a while ago, and some changes have been made since then. You've already exported this setup data when initially deployed and want to identify what setup modifications have been made in your environment since then. To start, go to Setup and Maintenance in the environment where you want to compare the data. Choose the Supply Chain Planning offering. Create a new Compare Setup Data. You can compare the setup data in your environment against a previous version exported in the same environment, which will appear listed at the top, or you can select Upload New to upload a version you saved before from the same or another environment that you want to compare. Browse and select the configuration package file that contains setup data you want to compare against. The Configuration Package Details section shows the basic information about the exported file, so you can verify whether you've selected the correct file. Now submit the upload process. Once the package is uploaded, it's ready for comparing the setup data. Now you can choose between comparing against the current data in this environment or another existing version in a configuration package. Similarly, you can select any configuration package already available in the environment or select Upload New to upload a version you want to compare. Since you're interested in identifying the differences with the current data in the environment, select Data in this environment as the source. You can change the default process name before submitting the comparison process if you want. Click Submit, then confirm the submission. Monitor the status of the comparison process until the status shows Completed. Now view the comparison results. Here's a summary of all the objects processed and objects with discrepancies. If the process finishes with warnings, the details include business objects that are not common to both configuration packages. That would be the case if new functionality was opted in, but this finished without warnings. The objects with setup data discrepancies are listed by default, but you can change the selection to see all the objects that were compared if you want to. You want to review only the discrepancies, so don't change the selection. The setup data is compared record by record for each business object. First, check the Only in Configuration 1 column to determine which records exist only in the configuration package, which in this case is the previous version of your environment. Open the report for Functional Security Custom Roles. Here are the details of Functional Security Custom Roles that were in the previous version and are not currently available in the environment. This is what you were expecting, so you can return to your results. Now check the In Both with Mismatch column to review the records that exist in both the configuration package from the previous environment and the current environment, but have different attribute values. There is one Trading Community Source System record that has mismatched values. Open the report to review the details. The report contains 2 rows for each matching record. The first row shows the values from the first source, which in this case is the configuration package from a previous version. The second row shows the values from the second source, which in this case is the current data in my environment. Freeze the first 2 columns in order to identify the records and sources, and then for each record, scroll to the right to find out the discrepancies between the 2 sources. Values are only presented for the attributes with discrepancies, so you can easily identify them. In this case, only the Start Date Active was updated. Return to the results. Next, check the Only in Configuration 2 column to determine which records exist only in the current environment. Open the report for Functional Security Customer Roles. These records only exist in the current environment, hence they were added since the version you compared against. Return to the results and continue to review the discrepancies for the remaining objects until you complete your review. Thank you for watching.